Good morning, members of the league. Just making my morning commute up the Beltline, and am extremely bored because I'm averaging, I think, about 8 miles per hour at this point. Oh, no, another stoplight. This is nice. And anyways, I want to thank Scott right now. Scott, thank you for dropping Frank Gore. I needed a running back this week. As you know, Le'Veon Bell, quite possibly the best running back in the game, behind Matt Forte, is on a bye this week. Was starting Trey Mason. I still may start Trey Mason, but I may start Frank Gore. I'm not really sure. I have Jeremy Hill that looks like he's going to get a bulk of the carries as well. So I'm really have a big decision to make out of that. But this is this week's preview. I'm not going to go very far in depth because really, I mean, there's a lot of contenders facing a lot of pretenders. Not really any good games whatsoever. For example, we have Hurricane against Derek M. Hurricane should mop this one up without an issue. Projection-wise, he's already favored by over 40 points. And, you know, Derek's team has really finished very weak in comparison to what I thought he would do, and maybe some other members of the league as well. So I'm taking Eric in a landslide there. We have Jared against Derek Lehman. Again, even though Derek Lehman picked up a random win a couple weeks ago, his team came back to his regular state last week against myself. Didn't do much of anything whatsoever. So I'm going to take Jared again in another landslide. We have a chance to have an okay game between Roger and Doug. Roger pulled the upset last week. I think he was overperforming that week, though, and Doug has really underperformed the last few weeks. I think this is a week that Doug gets it together and gets a big win over Roger to continue being in, I think he's first place right now in that division. And we have Jason Ferguson against Mike Samuels. Now, this is probably game of the week 2, I'm going to say. Mike and Jason, they're projected very similarly as far as points, 15 points, but you know what, you can't go either here nor there. Ferguson's team is actually probably overall stronger, but Mike Samuels does have the best player. Aaron Rodgers, he's playing Minnesota. Minnesota can make anybody look good. Their defense can anyways. And Ferguson is starting Sanchez, which Sanchez are we going to get? Are we going to get week 1 Sanchez where he blew up, or last week? I think partially depends on weather. I think Sanchez does play better in decent weather. He's not really can't really handle the cold in the iffy weather. Overall, though, again, I think I'm going to take Jason slightly to tie up as far as records with Mike Samuels due to the fact that he has Watkins, now healthy, Lynch, Forsett, and Gates. And that combo is going to lead him to the victory because really outside of Rodgers, Mike has Mark Ingram and Denard Robinson, but I don't think either one of them do enough this week. Ingram's playing Baltimore, a little bit tougher of a defense. And I still don't think Thomas or Robinson's back. So, he's going to get most of the carries, but he has been a little bit banged up, and that will have an effect. And in the other game that really doesn't matter at all, we have Andy and I Love My Ditka. I will take Andy in this just strictly because I think Andy's team, number 1, is better. And number 2, I'm pretty sure Nebert is throwing the season again. This might be, in the history of any dynasty that has been around in our era, the worst 2-year stretch of any team. How does that make you feel, Derek Lori? Just wondering. Because he hasn't won it next week against me, so this is his best chance to get to win number 3. I don't think he gets it, though. I do appreciate that. Andy, you're not tanking. Andy, you're still trying. I appreciate that. And in the game of the week, that will probably spell who wins our division, and on top of that, what could also be who has the most points in the league, just kind of based on what Eric does as well, as it's all very close. We have myself against Scott. Quarterback, Matt Ryan versus Drew Brees. Ryan against Cleveland at home, though. Drew Brees against Baltimore. Drew Brees, over the past month, has been one of the more disappointing quarterbacks in the league. I do own him in other formats. And really, you expect more of a guy like Drew Brees, but he's just faltered, and I don't know if things have been forced to trying to get the ball different places. His actual pass protection hasn't been as good lately either. Baltimore, while they aren't the defense that they were years ago, they still do have a very solid defense. Cleveland, Joe Hayden, great cornerback, but they aren't the defense they were a few years ago either. So at the same time, I'm going to give this one actually closer to a tie. It's got a slight edge at quarterback, but I do think Ryan has a better game than he's been having. At receiver, he's rolling out Demarius, Hopkins, and Matthews. I have Macklin, A.J. Green, and Edelman as of right now. Again, I think Scott probably has the best overall player in Demaryius Thomas, but I have more overall quality between my wide receivers. So I will be taking myself. I do think A.J. Green continues on strong. Edelman, if I do start him, is going against the Dallas defense that's really not very good. And Thomas is going against Miami. Miami has a tough defense overall because of their pass rush, which forces a lot of turnovers. That could actually do trouble for Peyton Manning as well, Eric. So keep that in mind. Running back, in a normal week, I take myself every single week over anybody with Le'Veon Bell on a bye. We have to go a little bit deeper into this. I think we have a wash between Jamal Charles and DeMarco Murray. So then it's going to be McCoy against either Trey Mason, as we talked about, maybe Jeremy Hill, maybe Frank Gore. Maybe Frank Gore comes back. I'm not sure. But again, Tennessee's defense, not a good matchup overall for anybody. I mean, they tend to give up the yards, but not a lot of touchdowns. I'm going to call our running back situation a wash. But the possibility of a breakout for McCoy just randomly could give that slight edge to Scott. And in our flex position, he's rolling out Keenan Allen and C.J. Anderson, and I have Mike Evans and, well, it depends on who's playing, actually. And either Bennett or Thomas or a variety of other people. Again, this goes back to inconsistency out of Scott's team. My team in my flex position has been very strong over the last month. We have rolled it up. I'm going to take myself in those matchups, no matter who I end up putting in there. And you know what? We saw 1.5 weeks of C.J. Anderson. I'm not completely sold on him yet. I think maybe Thompson gets the goal line carries. Anderson might get the bulk of the work. But I think he maybe ends up losing the touchdown on that, and it could be the difference in a game. And in the tight end, it's either going to be Bennett or Thomas for me against Kelsey. I'm going to take myself at tight end. Especially, it sounds like Thomas is going to be playing. He is the best tight end in the game. 12 touchdowns, looking strong. And even if I have to fall back and start Bennett, he's a much better option than Kelsey every single week. As I mentioned, I was going to take myself. I am going to still take myself. I'm not going to put up a week where 3 of my guys get hurt again this week against Scott. I'm going to say by the slimmest of margins, I'll say by under 10 points, I get the victory. It's going to be a good week. I wish I had Le'Veon so I could actually be at full strength. And I wish you had Antonio Brown. I wish that combo was there so it could be more legitimate in that realm. Gosh, I wish we were just playing the last week of the season. That would have been more fun. But that's my pick there. I need everybody, if you've made it this far in the video, to go ahead and make sure to vote online. If you want 3 or 5 years, I would like that locked in. I've already received votes from one person. I'm not going to necessarily put a deadline on it right now, although I would like everybody's in sooner than later, if that makes sense. So then we can all start getting prepared for next year. Just make it all fun, keep it exciting, and whatnot throughout. So appreciate the time, everybody. Looking forward to a good week. Starting this week with Kansas City and Oakland tonight. This is a big week for Kansas City owners. Jamal Charles, Kelsey, Oakland's porous defense is really going to probably help both of us out. I'm just hoping it helps me more than him in the long run. All right. Talk to you guys later. Good luck. And think about maybe sometime throughout the playoffs, us all getting together. I have a little Mexico trip December 3rd through the 7th, so I'll be gone that weekend. But obviously the Thanksgiving weekend's happening too, but maybe that following weekend after Mexico, maybe a little close to end of the year get together. Think about it. Let me know. Peace.